जय गोपीचंद बल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीचंद बल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीचंद बल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी गोपीचंद बल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय राधे माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय कुंज बिहारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यामुना तीरवनचारी यामुना वनचनचारी जय राधे माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधे माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय विष्णुपद परमहंस परिचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदैसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी की जय हो। नमाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय हो। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय हो। तय गौर प्रेमानंद। नारायण नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. So we read today from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 13, Text 19. So please repeat after me. Yavat Vatsapa, exactly like the cowherd boys. Vatsaka Alpaka Vapu, and exactly like the tender bodies of the cows. Yavat Kangari Adhikam, exactly to the measurements of the particular varieties of legs and hands. Yavat Yasti Veshanu Venu Dalashik, not only like their bodies but exactly like their bangles, flutes, sticks, lunch bags and so on. Yavad Vibhusha Ambaram, exactly like their ornaments and dress in all their varied particulars. Yavasilaguna Abhida Akriti Vaya, their exact character, habits, features, attributes and explicit bodily features. Yavad Vihara Adikam, exactly according to their taste or amusements. Sarvam, everything in detail. Vishnumayam, expansions of Vasudev. Vishnu Girangavat, voices exactly like theirs. Ajay, Krishna, Sarva Sarupa Bhavav, created everything in detail at himself without any change. Yavad Vasapa Vasakalpaka Vapur Yavad Kangranari Adhikam Yavad Yasti Vishan Venu Dalashig Yavad Vibhu Shamaram Yavashi Laguna Bhida Kriti Vayo Yavad Viharidakam Sarvam Vishnumayam Giro Nagvaja Aja Sarva Sarupa Bhava. Anybody is on Prabhu's side? Yavad yasti vishana vedu dilashig Yavad vibhushambaram Sarva Sarupa Bhava. Yavad Vasyapa Kalpagamapu Yavad Yasti Vivashenu Vidilshik Yadam Shambanam Okay. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. By his Vasudev features, Krishna simultaneously expanded himself into the exact number of missing cowherd boys and cows. With their exactly bodily features, their particular types of hands, legs and other limbs, their sticks, bugles and flutes, their lunch bags, their particular types of dress and ornament placed in various ways, their names, ages, forms, and their special activities and characteristics. By expanding himself in this way, beautiful Krishna proved the statement, Samagra Jagat Vishnu Mayam, Lord Vishnu is all pervading. Purport. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Nava Yavanam Cha. Krishna, Parama Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is Adyam, the beginning of everything. He is Adi Purusham, the ever youthful original person. He can expand himself in more forms than one can imagine, yet he does not fall down from his original form as Krishna. Therefore he is called Achyuta. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarvam Vishnu Mayam Jagat. Sarvam Khalau Idam Brahma. Krishna thus proved that he is everything and he can become everything, but that still he is personally different from everything. Mastani Sarva Bhutani Na Chaham Teshva Avashita. This is Krishna, which is understood by Achinta Bheda Abheda Tattva philosophy. Puranasya Puranam Adya Purusham Eva Vishashyati. Krishna is always complete, and although he can create millions of universes, all of them full in all opulences, he remains as opulent as ever without any change. Advaitam. This is explained by the different Vaishnava acharyas through philosophies such as Vishuddha Advaita, Visheshta Advaita, and Dvaita Advaita. Therefore, one must learn from Krishna, from the acharyas. Acharya one, Purusha Veda, one who follows the path of acharyas, know things as they are. Such a person can know Krishna as he is, at least to some extent, and as soon as one understands Krishna. Janma karma mecham divya evam ya veto tattva, one who is liberated from the material bondage. Om Jnana Timranasya Jnananja Salakya Chakshurmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurue Namah. Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamham Vande Shri Gurum Dina Taya. Okay, so as I explained last time, I can just say in few words. This is the very important, this chapter is very important, like especially in this ISKCON, because this is the last, these are the last purports that Srila Prabhupada wrote when he was on the bedridden. He cannot walk, he cannot stand, the dictaphone was close to his mouth, and he was giving his Bhaktivedanta purports. So this chapter is very important. And then this talks about the Brahma Vimohan Leela. So there are two things that Brahma, two reasons that Brahma got bewildered. One of them was, you remember one of them? Okay. So one of them, he was amazed or he was bewildered because he saw, how Aghasura get that Swarupa Mukti. Okay. And the second, when he's so second, when he saw that Krishna is sharing his lunch with his Gopas friends. He's eating, he's taking from their mouth, he's eating, he's giving them. So that's how they were sharing. And Brahma thought that, after so many these yajnas, tapashyas, all the offering that is offered to the fire, which is the Vishnu himself, basically then it's up to the Vishnu to accept or not. Okay, so many yogis do that, but how this is possible that he is just eating from the remnants of the other Gopas? So that bewildered him. This is second reason. Okay, in the case of Aghasura, why he got a Sarupa Mukti? Because the Gopas, the cowherd boys, were very eternal associates of Krishna. So he open his mouth, and that basically the cowherd boy just used that as a playground. So they were playing there. So now at least for a few moments, the Aghasura basically provided the opportunity for his gopas to play in his mouth. So because of that service to his eternal associates, he was liberated. So that was bewildered Brahma. Brahma, how old he is? He is 1.5 trillion years old. We are just few tenths of years old. And he has 4 heads. He can see in every direction. But you see, he got bewildered. So what to speak about us? So he was bewildered by looking at that. And on the top, the things become much worse when he saw that Madhumangal brought a pot of the buttermilk and he was drinking that whole thing. And Krishna said, why don't you give it to me? So as he was drinking, he just squeezed his mouth. And that came out, and then he drank that buttermilk. So that drive Brahma into the more bewildered state. Okay, so he said that how that is possible? How he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Let me test him. Okay. So he wanted to see also that Leela that Krishna was performing, so his intention was good, but his action was not correct. So Krishna was sitting on the bank of Yamuna, and then all these gopas, they were basically sharing their lunches. Okay. Krishna was glancing at them, gopas were in ecstasy, so they were sharing all the lunch that they brought with Krishna. And just by the glancing of Krishna, all the gopas were in ecstasy. And Krishna was sitting in the center of the world. It's just like a lotus. Okay, he was just looking into the center, and he was looking at all the gopas. So it's not like a 1 or 2 gopas, it's hundreds of thousands of gopas, just like a petals of the lotus around Krishna. And Krishna can see everyone. Okay. So if we are dancing in the kirtan, how we can see? We can just see 1 or 2 devotees close to us, but Krishna was looking at everybody. In the Chaitanya Bhagavatam, which is written by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, it's mentioned that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri, all the Navdeep devotees, they went there, he invited them, and they did the kirtan there. So, in the kirtan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, and all the other devotees were around them, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was looking at all of them. So everyone here, in the case of Gopa, everyone was feeling that Krishna is looking at them. That's the inconceivable potency of Krishna. Okay. If you look at in the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Leela, Jharkhand forest, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there, when he was dancing, all the tigers and all the deers, rabbits, they were also dancing. Okay. Later on, they embraced each other, they were kissing each other. It's not like a romantic way, but they were kissing because when they were chanting in the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what happened? The enviousness just went away from their heart. So when the enviousness goes away, then basically there is no animosity. So they were dancing together in pairs. So you see, so here, you can see here, if we put Krishna in the center, then everything moves around so smoothly. If we put ourselves in the center, then there where the problem is this. Okay? But sometimes, as I explained last time, sometimes we feel that, we are in the center, and this is what the problem happened, then our activity doesn't align with our services, and that results into the fall down. Okay, if you think that we are in the center, if the activity doesn't, we are close to the center and the activity doesn't align, then basically the fall down happen. So then what happened? The mood near the Yamuna river was so conducive to perform this Leela, and then they were eating all these lunch there, or prasadam. So it is said that 3-4 conditions are necessary to take a prasadam. One is the Yamuna, the breeze, cool breeze was flowing, the lotus flowers were there, the sand was so soft, and there was these this cuckoo birds singing, So as we take prasadam also, the environment has to be very nice, So we should look around, so peaceful, so we can take that prasadam. So what happened, then Krishna want to teach Brahma the lesson. So he know that this Leela is going to happen. So he created through his mystic potency the evergreen grasses around this. So the calves went there and they start grazing. Okay. And then these cowherd boys were still enjoying their pastimes with Krishna. So what happened, suddenly they saw that the cowherd boys went very far away, and then the gopas were worried. What happened to the cowherd boys? And the Krishna said, okay, no, you just sit here and I will go and find it out. Okay, this is what we should understand, that when we are engaged in the devotional activities, okay, sometimes the senses are not in control, but Krishna is guaranteeing that, okay, you do your practice and I will take care of it. So that's what he said, that, you sit here, take your lunch, I will go and get those. So he has that still the yogurt and the rice in his hand, and he went there. Okay, he tried to find in the caves, in the mountains, everywhere in the forest, but he didn't find those. He knows that. Okay, so basically Brahma took those calves and put them in the cave. When the Krishna went there for searching, he also took those cowherd boys. He put all of them in the cave. So Krishna was searching, he just realized that, okay, they are not there. But now the cowherd boy has to go in the evening to the home. Okay, so Krishna manifested himself exactly loud, that's what is said here, exactly like those cowherd boys, the calves, even the features, even the color of the hairs, color of the ears, the nose, how the nose, exactly he appears same like the cowherd. And the Lord Balaram was there not there on that day because he has a birthday, Balaram Jayanti. Okay, so he manifested individual calves and the cowherd boys, exactly same. So when they went home, so the parents, the cows, the gopas, the gopis, they didn't even felt that, they are not their sons or calves, And almost in a year, for Brahma is just a fraction of a second, it's almost a year. And then they feel more ecstasy, the breast was overflowing with the milks. And then the cows were in ecstasy, the gopas, the gopis were in ecstasy. And this happened for whole 1 year. Even Lord Balaram doesn't know about that. So he did so perfectly because he has an inconceivable potential. And when we try to do things perfectly, that doesn't happen all the way. In this material world, which is still the creation of the Supreme Lord, things always doesn't go in perfect. Okay? Even the case of a Lord Ram Leela, when Lord Ramchandra was in the jungle, then one day, the 14,000 Rakshasas came, Khardushan and his army came. And then, before that, Mother Sita always asked Lord Ram, you have this, bow and arrow on your neck all the time, You are not using it. What is the point of just having this all the time? So, when the time came, so she was basically, pointing to Lord Ram, what is the use of this? Keep it here on the side. So when they came, then Lakshmana went there, okay, just let me kill these armies. And Lord Ram said, no, I have to do it. You just go and protect Sita, with Sita. So Lakshmana again said again and again, but he was telling Lord Ram that I have to do that, it's family matter. Okay? So he went there and killed all those 14,000 Rakshasas without a bead of a perspiration on his head. Then Mother Sita was glorifying. So what I am saying here is basically the things in this material world is not perfect. No matter what happens, it's not perfect. Because we are bound to get attracted in this material world because of three things: of false pride, false opulence, and the third thing is lack of discrimination. As long as we have these three tendencies, we will not get out of this. That's what we have to take association of a sadhu, the guru, and shastra, and through mercy we can overcome these three tendencies. Otherwise you will just stay here forever. So it was the pride of Lord Brahma. He became so proud that, so the pride, the Brahma pride came. He was bewildered. He was so proud that I am the creator of this universe. I have created everything, and then what's happening here? He was bewildered. So when the pride comes, so what happened? When the pride comes, then there is always a fall down. Okay? He was proud of his creation. Obviously, he is the supreme living entity of this universe. So the pride comes, then what happened? How we get protected with the pride? So we should be, the first thing we have to do is basically we should be aware of our surroundings. Okay? We should be aware that I have given the unique opportunities after so many pious activities. I got in this lifetime to chant the holy name and have the association of the devotees. I can worship the deities. One should be aware of this rare fortune. If we are aware of these things, we can start understanding the value of that. Okay? So that's what exactly happening to Brahma. And the second thing, what happened when there is a Shori ki jai. So after that, the 1 year has just gone by, and then Lord Brahma came. He just again saw that this cowherd boy is there, these cows are there, and he went to his cave. He just saw there, just trying to make sure that, they just not move out. So they were still there. He again came back. He saw the same thing here. He again went back to the cave and see, okay. So he got more bewildered now. So what's happening? So in this higher stage of bewilderment, then he starts seeing the Vishnu Rupa, the four-arm form of Lord Vishnu. So he saw the four-arm form of Lord Vishnu with shining, so much radiance of light is coming out, and then basically the Vishnu was glancing at him. He was glancing at him. So he saw that multiple form of these Lord Vishnus, and he saw around them all the demigods offering their prayers, the yogis, the people. So he got more bewildered. What's happening? Why am I seeing it? Krishna was glancing at them. So the second thing when we have to do here, when we come here, okay, the first thing is basically we should be aware of that when the pride comes. The second thing is that we should come in front of the deities and pray to them. Okay? So we always have some desires. We have material desires, spiritual desires, whatever that we have. The desires is always within. So we should pray to the Lord Krishna. When the Lord Krishna glance, then he creates the spiritual desires within that living entity. Okay? He is the one who creates material desires, but he is also the one who creates the spiritual desires. So when he creates the spiritual desires, then we start realizing that. The mercy. Okay? So similarly, Lord Krishna was glancing at Lord Brahma, this Brahma. So Brahma was still bewildered. He was still confused. Even 1.5 trillion years old, he was still confused. That's what's going on. He is thinking himself that I am the creator of this universe, but by looking at these things, he realized that I am just like a light bug in this whole sky. I think that, when I light up, I can just, the radiant go and then basically the whole sky lit up. No. He is himself thinking like a light bug. He was realizing now that I am just like a light bug, and my light is just going around me. That's it. Because Krishna was glancing. When Brahma, the Lord Brahma of this universe, is a great devotee of Lord Krishna. But he has that small false prestige, false ego, little bit. So Krishna was trying to crush that ego within him. So by glancing that, his mind becomes clear and clear. So when Krishna glances, the spiritual desires happens, and when the spiritual desires happen, then what happens? You will cultivate the service attitude. Then the service attitude will come. When the Krishna glances, okay? And then the service attitude can also be of two types. That's what Lord Brahma was also instructing Kardama Muni in the third canto, that how service attitude should be maintained. It should be favorable to Krishna, it should not be favorable. So there are two types. One is the attitude which is favorable to Krishna, which is not favorable to Krishna. Okay? So the favorable to Krishna, the service attitude that we develop is that when somebody is giving instructions, okay, we just follow as it is. That's the first aspect of a service attitude. We follow as it is. Second, there should be no argument. Okay? Externals may be different, but there should not be any argument. Okay? Because when you start separating distinctions from services, oh, I don't like this, I like this, then basically it's not that. That's what Srila Prabhupada teaches us, that devotional service. Why he said devotional service? He said bhakti is not a sentiment within the heart. Bhakti is basically you carry out the physical activity. Practical devotional service. So that's very critical, practical devotional service. So somebody thinks that when I am leading a kirtan, so I sings very nice, devotees are so pleased. That's not good. His consciousness will not grow like this way. The bhakti is basically how you are pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead with your services. That's the bhakti. Whatever the services I do, it should pleases the Supreme Lord. That's the bhakti. It's not like pleasing to others. If I'm making a garland, oh, I make a nice garland, 5 devotees come, so you make so great garlands. No? Whatever service I am doing, if it is pleasing to Krishna, then I will feel satisfaction. So that's what he teaches us. So, third thing, there should be no hesitation. So instructions, no argument, no hesitation. If somebody asks you something, you're just eager to serve. So there's sometimes problems with the devotees. I want this, I want this, I don't want this, I want this. So that's called the bhakti in the mode of passion. It doesn't matter whether you do the service there, you do in the kitchen, or you do the pot washing, you do anything. That's the bhakti in the mode of passion, and that will not deepen the Krishna consciousness within your heart. The absorption should not be there. Okay, the absorption is very critical. You look at the example of Parikshit Maharaj, he was so thirsty, he put a snake in that rishi. And now when he was absorbed in the Krishna Katha, he was sitting there without water and food for 7 days. He was not thinking that I am hungry, I am thirsty. Because his absorption was so strong. Otherwise you might have a good knowledge of Shastras, you can speak so nicely, you can elevate yourself. But Krishna will pull you down like a Trinavata. He will just pull you down and crush towards the earth if you don't do the practical devotional service. If you don't have the service attitude, it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have. Sramahi kevalam, theoretical knowledge. So that's very critical. So that should be the service. The things which is not favorable. So there's an example given of a Sabari Muni. He offended the Garuda. Okay, Garuda was to take the snakes out, but he offended that, no, they are under my protection. You should not take it. So he was offended. He offended the Garuda. So Garuda is a senior devotee than Sabari Muni. So what happened with that offensive attitude? When the fishes were mating in the water, he was get disturbed with that, agitated with that, and he fall down. So this thing is very important. One should be very careful when you do the service attitude, no argument, no hesitation, and you just follow the instruction. If it is there, then bhakti in the mode of passion. So you need to be very careful about that. So that's what the third thing happened. Okay? Then Lord Brahma see these effulgent Vishnu forms. He sees the Krishnas glancing them, all the devotees, all the devatas offering prayers to him. He got more and more bewildered. He was surprised, what's going on? And then suddenly Krishna, everything disappears, and he saw Krishna standing in front of him with the same yogurt and the rice in his hand, which is just a 1 year old, but so fresh. Then he was again bewildered. So he was at the last stage of his bewilderment. Okay? But Krishna was glancing him regularly, so he was getting that mercy. Because Brahma is a great devotee. When Brahma goes to the shore of the ocean, he offers prayers, Lord Vishnu appears. He's more intelligent, but he got bewildered. So what to us? So the fourth thing, what happened, he saw that this kala, karma, kala, sabhava, guna, all were offering their prayers at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So the fourth thing, what happened, to make sure that we don't fall in the tribe, we surrender our independence to the Supreme Personality of Lord. So when we surrender our this independence, then we will not get affected with kal, karma, sabhava and guna. They will not affect us. They were offering prayers to the lotus feet of Krishna. So they will not affect us. When we surrender our independence to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then these things will not matter. But if you don't do that, Krishna is stealing everything from your life. Every moment he is just stealing. Whatever you have, day by day he is stealing everything. So you just do four things. And when these things, he saw this, what happened? He just started realizing that. He started now realizing that what happened, I was looking this Vrindavan as my creation, but now he started realizing that all these gopas, these calves, they're eternal associates of Krishna. He started now realizing this. This realization comes. Because the little bit tinge of a false ego that he has, just going away. So what happened? After you surrender your independence, so what happened? Then the purification process will start. Okay? So similarly that was happening to Lord Brahma, the purification started. So when he was purified, then he started realizing that. He offered his prayers, you will see in the next chapter, at the lotus feet of Krishna, and then basically the water was just falling from the eyes, and he was doing the abhishek from his eyes, water from his eyes, at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So this is how the ego got crushed down by Krishna. So these things are very important, once you feel that, or once we feel that the pride is within our heart, then we should be aware of our surroundings. We should offer prayers to the deities so they will glance at you, create spiritual desires. Third is basically when the spiritual desires comes, then the service attitude will come. And then you surrender your independence, the purification process will start. So in this age, in the good human society, people love people. Humans love humans and get things from there. But in this age, what happened? People love things and use things to use people. So this is so basically the respect or satisfaction is not there. There is no satisfaction within. If we use things to chastise people or whatever we do with other people, then the satisfaction is not there because the consciousness is polluted. As I mentioned last time, the circumstances will remain same. Okay? The circumstances remain. Sita have to be stolen by Sita. Just Ravana stole Sita. He took Sita away. You see so many other pastimes. Circumstances were there. You cannot change that. But what you can change is the consciousness. Okay? This is what the Gita is teaching us. Even there is a difficult situation of circumstances come, but if your consciousness is very strong, then you can overcome those difficulties. That doesn't mean your difficulties will go away. We live in this material world, the difficulty will always be there. That's a kunta. If there is no difficulty, then this is Vaikuntha. But you develop that level of consciousness that you can overcome these difficulties. Even Arjuna was so proud, that, I killed thousands and millions of these warriors. And then what happened, when the war was just finishing up, or when the war was ended, so Krishna asked Arjuna, you get out of this chariot. So he said, why? You should first get out of it. He get out of the chariot, then Krishna just came out and the chariot was blown into the pieces. Then he started realizing that, it's not me, Krishna is protecting me. So, when satisfaction is not there, the consciousness is polluted. So this is a true story. Then there was one person, a small boy, he used to deliver the newspaper every day to a doctor. Okay. So you will see, when satisfaction is not there, what happens. So he just used to do he was limping, he has a problem in his leg. The doctor was showing little kindness towards the boy. He thought that, let me operate him. Okay, so some sort of a kindness came from within. And then he said, he went to a medical facility, said that, I will do the surgery first, free of cost. Basically, I can do a surgery here, I can teach your students and I will not charge anything, but you have to give me your facility so I can operate. So when the time comes, the boy was on the wheeled in, and then the boy asked, look at the doctor and said that, doctor, you are very kind. You are very kind. So maybe I will offer prayers that you will show this kindness to others also. So when after the surgery, the boy was well, the doctor was feeling very sad. He was addressing to students, he was saying that today I am feeling very satisfied. I have done thousands of surgeries for billionaires, for millionaires, but I don't have any satisfaction within. But today, when this boy offered these prayers for me, I feel very satisfied. I think that I have done the best thing in my life. So sometimes the bhakti is deepened, even the Lord can be your transcendental witness. So there was in the Vrindavan, there used to be a person, he used to worship Banki Bihari. Okay, Banki Bihari is the temple which is a little far away from ISKCON, a little close, not that far. And then he used to go there every day, he offered prayers, he offered whatever services. And then some landlord, took hold of his house and he was basically on the streets. He has nothing to prove that I am the owner and all those things. So the other owner, he grabbed all the land, all the money, all his house and everything. He has nothing. So he was praying to Banki Bihari that he appears in his dream. That don't worry, I will be in the court tomorrow as your witness. So next day, when the judge called, where is the witness? Where is your witness? Okay, so then he saw an old man with a bright effulgence on his face. He came and then he was in the court and he revealed everything, where are those documents and everything. So he was a transcendental witness. The judge was basically surprised. The next day he gave up everything and became Judge Baba. So you see, when the bhakti is within the heart, when you are doing bhakti from within the heart, Lord can be your transcendental witness. So this is very important when we hear that what happened to Brahma, how there was a little tinge of a false pride, and how Krishna taught him a lesson that how he can crush this false pride when you have an ability to surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna. If the surrender is not there, then you just stay in this material world. You have false pride, you have false opulence, you have a lack of discrimination, you stay in this material world forever unless you, by your pious karma, some devotees comes and lift you up. So that part is very critical. So the hearing is very important. So that's what this Parikshit Maharaj was doing, completely absorbed in that hearing. Because when hearing is so strong, then you know what happened? When the hearing is so strong, then there is a harmony in our desires with Krishna's desires. Okay, Krishna has certain desires, Krishna has a desire. Our desires will align with the desires of Krishna. That's called the harmony. That only comes when you are hearing. Okay, if you don't hear, then there is no harmony. I can give you some service, you are giving me some service, and there is no harmony. There is a conflict will happen if the desires doesn't align. Okay, so again the same thing. When the harmony is there, the service attitude will also come. Sometimes it works the other way. People don't understand the harmony, they do services, and then through services they realize and the harmony comes. So previous time also I gave examples of Lord Hanuman. Lord Ram gave Hanuman a ring and then asked him to give it to Sita. Then Hanuman was saying, why this my Supreme Lord is crying and why he is giving me this ring? He didn't understand at that point. So Lord Ram was thinking that you will not understand this. So he went there, he saw Sita in that state, he gave her that ring, then he realizes the importance of that ring. He realizes why Lord Ram was crying. So sometimes, if you don't have a harmony, you do the service and through that service you learn how to harmonize. Then this tolerance and this other qualities, the humility will come. Then tolerance will come. You will start tolerating that humility. Humility is the gateway to the spiritual process. So it's very important, that bhakti is not a sentiment thing within the heart. It has to be expressed through practical devotion service. So I gave this example several times because Srila Prabhupada used to give this example several times. Pundrika Vidhi was his disciple, and there's another disciple, Srila Prabhupada said, this Pundrika Nidhi, he know everything from Bhagavad Gita, he remember all the slokas from left to right. Then Srila Prabhupada asked him, called him and asked him to do some practical devotional service, otherwise, he will have theoretical knowledge. So one should be expert like Srila Prabhupada. Wherever, or aspire to be, or follow the footsteps. Srila Prabhupada was very expert in everything, he was also expert, acquiring land, the temples and all those things. So there was he was in Vandavan, one devotee named Bhagavat, he came to Srila Prabhupada's quarters and Srila Prabhupada was, cooking. He said, what you are doing, Swamiji? He said that I am cooking a feast. He said, how much time it will take for you to cook? He said, I can cook for 100 people in 10 minutes. He said, how is it possible? It's not possible. He said, it's possible, you can bet with me. But he said, there's no point betting with you. That was the devotee Bhagavat said, Because if you win, then you will get the money. But if I win, then you will ask me to donate that money. So, you should be expert. Nothing is perfect, but we should always aspire to do things what Srila Prabhupada teaches us, and then just we carry the movement in that direction. So for example, if somebody has a problem, somebody has an issue, last time I spoke a lot about the fault finding ability, but if you, rather than finding a fault in a particular devotee, you try to help him to do that. That's what the mutual dependency is there in the ISKCON movement. That's what the mutual dependency. We should help each other. Just like in the California, there's a redwood trees. They're pretty tall trees, but the root doesn't go that deep. The roots are on the surface. But when you look at them, the roots just cross-linked with each other, you know. In the scientific world, there's a cross-linked polymer. That polymer becomes so hard. So the roots just cross-link each other, you know. So when the root becomes so strong, then what happens? The tree doesn't fall. So that's what the concept here, the ISKCON, is that devotees cooperate with each other, you know, they intermingle with each other, they help each other, they associate with each other, and take this, so the movement will become very strong and then it will move forward. Just like a redwood tree. So we should just learn from the nature. So I think that I will end here because the festival will start and we have to do a lot of decorations. So if any discussion, any questions I can take, or somebody wants to share anything.
Remember, I don't know, you said that if you put yourself in the center and service, something like that, and it struck me a lot, then it just went off of mind because I was doing.
So I will repeat that. So I was talking that Krishna was sitting in the center and the cowherd boys was around him, you know, and they were like in thousands and 100,000 cowherd boys. So they were like a paddles and he was like a wall in the center. So when he was the center, he was the most attractive point. So he was glancing at those gopas or everybody, the cowherd boys, and they were relishing the glancing of Krishna. Okay, so when we put Krishna in the center, then whatever services that we do will align very nicely with our consciousness, and that will deepen our consciousness. Okay, but if we think that I become big shot or I'm become a leader, now I'm moving closer to the center. So when they try to move closer to the center, so what happened? The level of consciousness they have might not align with the activity they do. Okay, so that can lead to a spiritual fall down. Okay, because when they think that I am now the center and everything moves around me, so the consciousness they have carry at this point may not align well with the activity they do, and that can lead to a fall down.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for your class. You made a lot of nice points. The one point you were mentioning, you, I believe, quoted Lord Chaitanya's pastime where he expanded himself like Krishna in the Sankirtan group. I was just reading that pastime. I think that's in Madhya Lila chapter 13, verse 52, and a few verses after that, where there was 7 Kirtan groups and Lord Chaitanya expanded himself, and everyone thought Lord Chaitanya is only in our Kirtan group. And that's the nature of the Lord's love. And the reason I appreciate that, and I have a question regarding this, because one of my favorite analogies is that in the Gita, the body is described as a machine. And in our experience, we know that a computer is only attractive when it's connected to its power source. When it's disconnected, it's unattractive. So all the devotees, they were always looking to connect to their power source, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna. They would never look to anybody else. However, in the material world, you know, we try to please, you know, people who are not Krishna, who have imitation Krishna, who have a little opulence. There's a nice quote by His Grace Will Smith Prabhu. There's a nice quote. He said a good quote. He says, people spend money they don't have to buy things they don't want, to impress people they don't like. And there's another quote that says, money, fame, power, and high education increases your net worth, not your self-worth. You are already valuable with a smaller apartment and no title behind your name. The only title we need to feel good about ourselves is child of Almighty God. So my question is, in the material world, you can't always please materialists. We see in the Gita, Krishna's pleased with a bottle of water and a leaf. If try giving a bottle of water and a leaf to somebody else, they're displeased. So my question is that how can we give up the tendency to always try to please every devotee who are also under the most material nature? They have their inner artists too. And sometimes we hear you should please the devotees, but they also have their inner artists. So we live our life trying to please the devotees so much that we lose our own Krishna consciousness. Oh, they're not pleased. Krishna's pleased with a bottle of water and a leaf, but you do so much. So how can we give up this tendency without committing aparats?
You know that Krishna is pleased with water, leaf, whatever that, but the type of the consciousness at that level has to be very high. Okay, At our level, we cannot offer leaves and all those things. The level of that bhava has to be there. So he will accept it if that bhava is there. He knows what type of bhava we have. Okay, so we don't need to tell him. But in the case of pleasing everybody, sometimes what happens when you try to please everybody, you will get displeased. Because you think that I please this devotee, I please this devotee, I please this devotee. Through your behavior, through your character, when the character, the behavior, the attitude, the service attitude, or whatever the things that you do, if you do according to your best capacity, devotee will automatically be pleased with you. You don't need to please with everybody. They will automatically please with you. But if you artificially try to please someone, you might displease someone. It's not possible that you can keep everybody happy. Even like in the workplace, it doesn't matter whatever the best qualities you have, whatever the best things you do, whatever the best things you organize, but you will see few other people are always displeased, whether it's a materialistic people or the devotees, it doesn't matter. That's what I said last time. As Srila Prabhupada said, you always look for a good qualities in others, don't look at the bad qualities, because if you start looking at the bad quality in others, you will develop those qualities within. So he said that's what in that category we should do. We always look for good things. That's what Srila Prabhupada said. We should always come to that stage, because we don't have the capacity to find the good in others and amplify. No, that's not possible. That's only Guru and Krishna can do it. He can find good qualities in you a little bit, but he can amplify. But we cannot do that. But at least we have to come at that stage. We should know if you think that he is not pleased, he is pleased, you should just start making your choices. That I have a relationship with few of them. Let me cultivate, deepen that relationship. Why this point of pleasing everybody? I develop myself those qualities, the behaviors, the attitude. People will be pleased with you. If some people are very displeased with you, then that's fine. Let it go. Why you are just focused on that? Because if you start thinking with them, you will lose your consciousness. And then you start, the fault finding capacity will come. You start finding, you'll see the negativities, He thinks that he's so great, but he has this quality, that quality.
You said something I could not catch, that I was feeling sleepy. So the thing is that you said when your hearing will be strong, then your desire something align something, you told something.
Yeah, so hearing process in our movement is very important. So Srila Prabhupada, many people or acharyas, they have spoken commentaries on different shastras, Upanishads and Puranas. Our Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya, also did that, but he created this facility for us. So we can chant here together and serve the deities together and associate with. He created this wonderful thing, so many temples. So then we don't need to look for infrastructures if we do something. So the hearing, when the absorption is there, then whatever the desires you have, the soul, one of the quality of the soul is soul always desires. You might have material desires, you may have spiritual desires. But when the hearing absorption is very strong, then you will cultivate the desires that will align what Krishna wants, spiritual desires. So that harmony will be there. Then whatever the activity that you will do, you always think and remember Krishna all the time. You will do that activity to please the Krishna, the deities. Because when you think that with my activities I can please others, then that's a false ego. Whatever the activity that you do, if that activity pleases Krishna, that's the bhakti. If the activity you do and you think that the devotees or other people will please with me, that's not bhakti. We are going in the opposite directions. We are cultivating that false ego. False ego is always there. This Maya is always at your doorstep. When you, as I said, when you go to the ocean, As soon as you step your water in the ocean, the water is so nice, cold, As you go deeper and deeper, because Maya will not capture you immediately. It will, attract you. And once you get trapped, then that's a problem. Okay. So I think we will end here. It's 9 o'clock. Srila Prabhupada ki